Daniela Bonita Bermúdez, Carolina, Puerto Rico, Real
Okay, we'll start with this. A recent revelation from earlier today per a tweet from Michael Benson. The WBA have now officially ordered Erica Cruz to face Amanda Serrano next for the undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO featherweight world titles. Rare instance of a sanctioning body ordering a unification. Parties have 30 days to negotiate until December 1st. Then, purse bids.
You don't often hear about sanctioning bodies ordering unification matches because more often than not, they have no power over both champions, really, just one.
Whichever one of the aforementioned parties, whichever one of the champions is in possession of that sanctioning body's alphabet title. In this instance, it's really Erica Cruz. If Amanda Serrano were to walk away from this, not saying that she would, I'm pretty sure this is what she wants.
But if she were to, there's no penalty for her.
It's actually Erica Cruz that's being put in the hot seat. It's actually Erica Cruz who is subject to this order more so than Amanda Serrano, because Erica Cruz is in possession of the WBA's featherweight title, the last missing puzzle piece that Amanda needs to become the featherweight division's undisputed champion. And the WBA have decided to step in and order this thing.
Well, what about the Katie Taylor rematch? We know Katie said she wants to fight Amanda next at Croker Park.
And I don't doubt that she does, but when it comes to that rematch, here's the news. Here's reality. Reality is that Katie Taylor doesn't need Amanda Serrano to fill 82,000 seats with a homecoming fight at Croker Park. She can do that all on her own.
She can do that fighting Estelle Mosley,
one of her old amateur rivals who now campaigns in the lightweight division. Katie Taylor can do those numbers by herself without doing that Amanda Serrano rematch. And Amanda, well, Amanda has options.
Capitalizing off this opportunity, capitalizing off this here and now doesn't take the Taylor rematch off the table, because the Katie Taylor rematch is a big fight regardless of when it happens, whether it's next or after next.
Oh, I understand that Amanda likely would make more money boxing Katie Taylor for a second time than she would taking on Erica Cruz. The question is, will the Erica Cruz fight still be there? This is a very different situation than the way things were before. The WBA is actually ordering this fight. They're actually putting pressure on Erica to fight Amanda, because Erica has walked away from this fight at least once before.
And now, unlike before, the WBA aren't giving Erica much of a choice. She is either going to comply with this order or surrender the WBA title to Amanda.
If you want any insights into what we can expect Amanda to do next, I defer you to Jake Paul's recent tweet where he says, "Dear Amanda, it's time to become undisputed featherweight champion. You have dreamed to have that opportunity to get that WBA title. It's your time. Thank you, WBA." To which young Amanda replied, "Yay. Thank you so much."
I get the sense that Amanda might decide to fight Erica next, and I'm not against it, because I think the featherweight division needs this. It needs this fight. It needs this exposure. It needs this lineage.
This is bigger than just a singular moment or a singular fight, singular rematch between Amanda and Katie. The featherweight division needs the exposure that Amanda now brings to it, as do all those featherweights, all those fighters campaigning at or around featherweight. You're talking about Raven Chapman, you're talking about Karis Ardingstall, Sky Nicholson, Sophia Leash,
Sarah Liegmund,
Laura Grzab.
You think I don't want to see Katie Taylor and Amanda run it back? Of course I do. I'm a boxing fan, but I also understand that Amanda better services the sport as the authority at featherweight.
To give that division a face, to give that division lineage and a hierarchy, a pecking order, to give all those young little Puerto Rican girls over there in Puerto Rico someone to look up to and something to aspire to. If she can do this, having made the history she's made already, if she can add this
Puerto Rican girls are hot.
to all the accomplishments she's already amassed over the years.
Rosie Perez and Rosalind Sanchez are hot.
Can you shut the fuck up?
Call me crazy, but I actually think Amanda Serrano better services the sport as the authority at featherweight and its potential next undisputed champion. It's actually better for everybody than a singular rematch with Katie. The first fight was great.
But fighting Erica next, capitalizing on this order here and now, it doesn't take that fight off the table.
And you want to capitalize off this order here and now. You want to do this, you want to pursue this, because in the past, Erica Cruz has walked away from this fight before.
So now that the WBA isn't giving Erica much of a choice, now is the time to strike. Now is the time to pursue this. I think that what Jake wants to do is to schedule Amanda's next fight on the undercard of his next fight. He was in action this past weekend against MMA legend Anderson Silva, and he won a points decision. I get the sense that he wants Amanda and he wants this fight to be primed and ready for his next fight, the undercard of his next fight, which would presumably take place sometime early next year.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Amanda stylistically has the right base style to take on and take out Erica Cruz. Erica's a pressure fighter.
Whereas Amanda is a boxer-puncher. She has the right base style to take her on and take her out. And all she's got to do is get her in the ring.
Very soon, she may have that chance.
Just in keeping with the theme of all things most valuable promotions, Jake Paul, on the heels of his big win over Anderson Silva, his boxing future, he says, "My brother says I should retire after Anderson Silva win, but I'm not going to do that. I think this is just the start. I'm really starting to get good. There's a lot of people that I want to beat, and I want to be a world champion."
I don't know that Jake Paul's ever going to be a world champion. I don't know that he's ever going to win a full-fledged alphabet title.
I don't know how many more fights and how much more preparation it would take him to be ready for someone like a J.O. Pataya, a Lunga Makabu, a Lorenzo Coley,
or Renard Sengulamarian. These are the four reigning cruiserweight champions. Now you tell me which one of those guys you think Jake Paul can be.
Not trying to be negative, I'm just trying to be honest. I don't give Jake Paul, here and now, any kind of odds against those guys based on who he's fighting. And I don't have an issue with who he's been fighting. I mean, for God's sake, Jake doesn't even have 10 fights yet.
No boxer, not even a serious pugilist, is taking on killers in under 10 professional fights. More often than not, it just doesn't happen that way.
So I don't have an issue with who Jake is fighting, but based on who Jake is fighting, how old he is now, the state of the division, the state of the weight class, how deep it is, and how much time Jake would need before he's ready to box for an alphabet title. You'll excuse me for saying so, but I don't think he gets one. I don't think he beats a full-fledged world champion or becomes one, but that doesn't mean he can't make money. He can make money.
He's got options. Tommy Fury, the younger brother of Tyson Fury. Tommy Fury, who I like to call Tommy Fumbles.
Or Fredo Fury. When it comes to Fredo Fury, Jake Paul has declared that he would be willing to fight Tommy Fury in the UK if Tommy's team stage it and take on the financial risks in case he being Tommy Fury, pulls out because, well, he has pulled out of fights with Jake Paul 2 times already.
He was quoted as saying, "It's an easy fight for me. I wouldn't even have to train for that fight."
Certainly understand why Jake Paul would want assurances that his time preparing for Tommy Fury won't be time spent in vain, won't be time wasted. Tommy Fury having pulled out of fights with Jake 2 times already. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter.
You're the guy that keeps having issues. You're the guy that keeps pulling out. You're the guy with all the fucking problems. You had a chest infection the first time. You couldn't enter the United States the second time.
All the issues, all the obstacles, they're on your end. Tommy Fury's supposed to be returning to action on the undercard of Mayweather versus Deji. There were some rumors and rumblings that he'd be fighting Tyrone Woodley a couple of weeks ago. He's not fighting Tyrone, he's fighting Paul Bamba.
Who the fuck is Paul Bamba?
Who the fuck is Tommy Fury? Tommy Fury, who says, if Jake Paul and KSI didn't have to fight me, they wouldn't. They have to fight me to prove that they are legitimate boxers. They have to. If they want to be regarded as boxers, they have to go through me.
No, they don't.
This is what Tommy Fury's professional boxing career has been reduced to, servicing as the gatekeeper for social media influencers turned pugilists. I mean, I don't even know that Tommy Fury has ever won an area title after 8 professional contests, 8 professional fights, that he's the go-to guy for legitimacy.
Legitimacy in pugilism. A lot of people are questioning the legitimacy of Tommy Fury's career.
Aside from your namesake, what the fuck has Tommy Fury done to get attention for himself? It's not his resume, it's not who he's fought, it's not anything he's accomplished. He's in the early stages of his career, and you'll excuse me for saying so, but based on how he's looked, he don't look like no blue chip prospect to me.
The truth on Tommy Fury, Fredo Fury, the truth is out.
Word is out. And he ain't his brother, you know? He ain't Tyson Fury. And he's not aspiring to accomplish in the sport of boxing. He's not aspiring to accomplish the things that his own brother has accomplished in the sport of boxing based on how much time he's spending worrying about social media influencers and their boxing matches, their celebrity affairs. Based on how much time he's spending on that, I don't get the sense that this is an aspiring world champion, a budding up-and-comer that's looking to make a splash, a real splash, in the real sport of boxing. No, Tommy just wants to cash in on the influencer market, the social media market.
KSI makes more money than you do.
Jake Paul does too. Both of those boys, they got bigger followings than you do, and that's what you're looking to capitalize on because you've got it in your head that you're a better boxer than those two guys are. But based on your quality of competition and how you're looking, are you really?
You're a better boxer than they are, based on what?
Based on what?
What?
Your mommy and your daddy? Your namesake? You're a better boxer because your big brother's Tyson Fury?
What?
The fuck have you done that makes you so special? Have you even won an area title yet?
What?
What if Tommy Fury, off his own name alone, Tommy Fury were to try to headline a main event, headline a show, fighting the kind of guys that he has been fighting? How many people would show up? How many people do you think?
I really don't know, but Tommy Fury has confirmed that he and Tyson Fury remain unable to enter the United States at present.
And so he's called for Jake Paul to fight him at a stadium in the United Kingdom. I think me and Jake Paul can do 70,000, 100%.
And as stated, Jake said he's willing to go over there so long as he can be provided assurances that if Tommy pulls out, he'll be compensated.
Yeah, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, that's a distinct possibility. That can happen. Though Tommy should consider himself lucky. He should count his lucky stars that Jake Paul's even still giving him the time of day. Because Jake's got options. Need I remind you that Nate Diaz of the UFC, he is now a network and promotional free agent. He was in attendance this past weekend for Jake Paul's fight with Anderson Silva. And I'm pretty sure Showtime would like to bankroll that because Nate Diaz, he has his own set of fans, his own following. You mix his following with Jake Paul's following, and you got yourself a box office fight, a box office event.
Nate's not in his 50s like Anderson Silva.
And Nate's coming off a big win in the Octagon.
He's riding high, and from where I'm sitting, Diaz versus Paul is just as palpable as Fury versus Paul.
It's just as palpable. It's just as realistic, except fighting Diaz in America won't require Jake to get on a plane and fight in your neck of the woods. He can fight in his own.
Against a more well-known fighter, a more well-known athlete than Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury even have the same size following that Nate Diaz has.
In any event, we'll see who Jake Paul decides to go with.
They actually emailed me today. Yeah,
So what did he say?
I emailed him in August to talk about an offer. He came back today. It was a long wait, but at least he replied. You know, that offer that we had to him was to fight this year. But obviously, with our relationship out here, we'd like to continue that offer. I actually invited Deontay and Shelley out here this week. They can't come, but we'll be working with them and trying to come up with some ideas. Again, it all depends on AJ if he waits to go into a fight like that or if he has a fight early in the year. But I see AJ against Deontay Wilder as a must-make fight. I really do. I think it's one of the biggest in the sport.
Pardon my pessimism and my skepticism. You'll excuse me for saying so that it'll take more to convince me that this fight is going to happen. It'll take more to convince me than mere email correspondence.
You send these guys an email in August and they don't get back to you till what? The end of October? Early November, really.
I mean, all that really tells me is that you are now where you were 2017 and 2018. You're playing phone tag, you're playing email tag.
You're going back and forth with these people that didn't prioritize this fight the most when it should have been a priority. Their highest priority. But now they want to come back to the table.
What might leave Deontay Wilder and Shelley Finkel so inclined to finally do business with Eddie Hearn, to finally come back to the table for this fight? Well, Deontay Wilder's abysmal pay-per-view buys might have something to do with it. You know, ahead of that Robert Helenius fight, I was anticipating something in the neighborhood of 250 to 300,000 buys, as high as 400,000 buys, based on sentimental fight fans who perhaps they already know that Robert Helenius is going to go down. They know he's going to get knocked out, but they're just happy to see Deontay again. And on that premise, they'd purchase the pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view buys would be somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 300 to 400,000. That's not what happened.
You're really fucking lucky this guy's still willing to talk to you.
Very lucky. Because Deontay Wilder, you know, he's supposed to be fighting Andy Ruiz in what is a WBC final eliminator. And even if he were to beat Andy Ruiz and become the WBC's mandatory challenger, what's that going to get you? A Tyson Fury fight? Another one? Another chance for that guy to kick your ass up and down the ring? Won't get you as much money as an AJ fight.
Well, that's assuming Fury wins. What if Usyk wins? What if Usyk ends up being this division's undisputed champion? I hate to break the news to you.
Alexander Usyk very recently said that he would be willing to revisit a Deontay Wilder fight, just that proposition, beyond the undisputed title fight with Tyson Fury. If he were to beat him,
Hypothetically speaking, if he were to beat Tyson Fury, and hypothetically speaking, if the way were clear for a Usyk versus Wilder fight, well, for Wilder, you don't get as much money fighting Usyk as what you'd get fighting AJ. That's just the truth.
it's reality. Anthony Joshua, whether you like it or not, is still the heavyweight division's cash cow. Nobody commands an audience and nobody generates as much revenue in this division as that guy. And Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua for no belt at all is still a very big fight. Very big fight that investors would get behind.
All Deontay and Shelley got to do is play ball. They need to know their role, know their place to make the deal.
Make the fight a reality. You just sold next to nothing at the box office. Not even half of what you sold with Tyson Fury the last 2 times you fought him, all right? Your stock is not on the up and up.
That was billed as a Fox pay-per-view, PBC on Fox pay-per-view.
It's rumored that Fox will be leaving the sport of boxing beyond this year. They won't renew the deal with the PBC.
So what's Deontay Wilder gonna do? Go back to Showtime? You gonna start up with the platform stuff? Showtime versus DAZN, who's gonna do the fight? You gonna start that up again?
Because all that's going to do is fuck up the deal. That's all that's going to do. That's going to muck up the situation. Nobody on Showtime is putting up astronomical numbers. So spare me the fight needs to be on Showtime, and Showtime needs to be involved. Showtime hasn't been involved in the last couple of fights you've had.
Deontay Wilder's last 4 fights. Showtime has had fuck all to do with Deontay Wilder's last 4 fights. So don't try to include them in this one.
You want to do this thing. If you really want to do this thing and you want to make some money, you take your happy ass over to DAZN, my friend, where Anthony Joshua boxes exclusively moving forward. You let those guys over there in the Far East, the Middle East, wherever they are, you let them bankroll it.
They're the ones putting up the offer after all. They're the ones with the relationship with Eddie, so you let them bankroll it and you let Matchroom promote it.
Al Heyman don't need to be involved. Al Heyman is PBC or his network affiliates, what network affiliates remain beyond this year. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And that's how you make sure the fight gets done. It ain't gotta be next, but it can happen after next.
Next year, it can happen.